that feeds can also bind, but peace can free a restless mind. Fix the cracks, don't paint them bright. The world's not whole without the fight. So rise and speak, don't just comply. Change the script, don't live the lie. Counter this, counter that.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our third episode of Counter This. We were gonna have Alex O Crypto on here today, but he is a man of principle, and on the episode of Reconnecting, he had to take care of some family things. So it is me and LBC today. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing quite well. It's a little bit chillier now, so that's awesome. A little bit chillier outside, so jacket on, and enjoying the cooler temps. That's for sure. But yeah, very excited to go over this episode with you. And yeah, let's. How are you doing? How about that?
I'm doing pretty well. Also enjoying the cooler temps. It's a little bit rough in the start of the day with work, but like it's so much better than just like getting to work and you're like sweating before you've even done anything. So
Mm,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
especially when when you're doing outside work like you and I.
oh yeah.
It's yeah. It bring on the cooler temps, please.
Exactly. Like I'm like this. I'm like this close to being ready for like just like a giant snowstorm. You know, it's like I wanna enjoy the cool weather for just a little bit. Like and maybe get outside, do some things, and like not have to like sweat to do it. I know me and my girl have plans to go to the zoo before that time of year is just like done and over with, and I would like to do that before it's like, okay, giant snowstorm and you can't go to the zoo even if you wanted to. So,
Yeah, you get a lot of snow where you live, huh?
oh yeah. I think our peak last year was like almost 2 feet of snow.
Jeez.
Yeah. But it's,
Yeah, we don't
hey,
get hardly any of that here. We get ice. That's what we get.
see, that's what we used to get in Oklahoma, where I was born and raised. So a lot of ice, which is why you don't have like as much great uh, like ground to grow stuff as you do here in Nebraska. Well, it's like we can grow a lot of corn and a lot of soy, which requires decently moist soil. So
Yeah.
uh,
Shout
starting
out to
getting
Army Piper in the
oh
chat.
oh glad
Says
that
he
you're
loves cool
keeping.
weather.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do. It's like you enjoy the hot weather for just like a little bit of time, and then like it's like I'm over this. There's only so much you can do in the heat that you can't do in other temperatures. So,
He says I am way louder than you.
uh, let me get that fixed. I know part of that's probably my settings as well. Yep, I think it messed with my mic setting. Let me get that fixed. And then while I get that fixed, do you want to intro what today's topic is on?
What is today's topic on? What are we doing?
Well, I sent you the overview. Hold on, let me get this microphone all fixed because it was on the wrong setting. There we go.
Oh,
That should be
there we
better.
go. Oh, now I can turn you down in my headphones.
All right. So today's topic was going to be about reconnecting the lost art of being human. And next week episode will build off of this one, and the week after that will build off of that one. So originally we wanted to kind of talk about building community, and there's a precursor to building a community. And the precursor to building a community is building that one on one relationship with people in your life, with like real people in the real world, not always just online. Online does help if it's used the correct way. And I feel like the trend that we've been seeing, especially with the younger generation, is using the internet in the complete opposite way of actually building human connections. So today's episode was kind of going to be on how we, one, use our real world connections to grow with other people, and sometimes how you can use the internet to also assist you with that, because that's going to be a big part of episode 4 and community building.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because for me, my community, my online community, has actually helped me in my personal life as far as like connecting with other people and talking to other people online has helped me be more open in my personal life to talking to other people. I don't know how many people know this about me. I'm not quite. I'm not. I used to be very outgoing. Used to be very, as they would call it, a free spirit. Just kind of. I've always been very friendly with people. If you watched my interview with Crypto Princess, I was going over how I was in high school, and I called myself a frockip, which is a freak, a jock, and a prep, because I wore the freak, quote unquote, freak clothes. Uh, you know, black shirt, big baggy pants, long hair, all that stuff. But I was also on the football team, and I went to prep parties, so I was kind of all over the place, and I was just talking to everybody. But in my older age, I kind of stepped away, not really stepped away, but circles grew, or kind of became smaller and smaller, and I think that has a lot to do with just um, well, a lot of it has to do with just people going their own ways, of course. Um, but it also just it's just you got to find your people, and you got to have the people that have the same like-mindedness. But I think that you can grow communities from that maybe people weren't looking for something, um, but they see what you've done in your community and they just want to become a part of it. So, funny enough, I went from like being all over the place to being almost predominantly online. Not predominantly. I mean, I've had my social life, of course, but the circles grew smaller and smaller, and my online circle grew bigger and bigger. And now it's kind of rebalancing uh, back into my personal life. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing these days, is just that personal connection. And you have to start somewhere. And for me, starting somewhere was finding people, like-minded people online, building that coalition or that community online, and then now utilizing my experience with that in the quote unquote real world. And so the key, or the difficulty, the task, is getting people outside of your circle, inside of your circle, in person. Like, how do you bring those people? How do you build that community in person? And
I think
so,
a lot of that goes with the first step in making that online connection with someone, and it's
mhm,
literally just reaching out. And
Hmm.
it's so easy in our daily lives to just, you're walking through the store and there's someone walking through the store with you too. And you might see that they're struggling with a little something. They drop something, and like
Hmm.
it's literally as easy as just reaching down, being like, hey, uh, here's this for you. And I picked it up. Or like the other day, we saw someone drop their wallet and you can just like forget it and hope that they, realize that they dropped their wallet, or you can reach down and literally take 2 seconds, pick their wallet up, and like, hey, bro, you dropped this, and then they're gonna respond to you, and that's as easy. It's just as easy in real life as it is on the internet. Just people are really desensitized to that. Oh, let me actually open my mouth and talk to someone in my daily life, because like there is that little bit of a barrier since we've all been online for so long where it's like I can just shoot a text over to someone. Well, it's like it's also just as easy to pick up the phone and call that person too. It's way more personalized, and this will allow you to have a little bit of a different kind of connection than you would over texting someone. I know Piper does it all the time with me. Where it's like he could have shot me a text message back, but instead he picked up the phone, and what would have been like a 5 minute text is now like an hour long phone call.
Yeah, I had one of those phone calls with Piper today.
No, that's not
uh,
surprising, you know. It,
hold on, I've got to put this in. I'm just reading the chat real quick, and I just got to say, uh, I'm 100% with Piper. I don't like beans in my chili. All right,
so so we're just making
I've
chili
gotta
for
I've gotta have more, just more meat.
So I don't know. We've got like a big ass hunk of meat that we're throwing in there, like this big, but like it's for multiple days, and it's like I don't know. There's just sometimes you just need like a little extra something in there. It's like I can throw more meat in there, but it's like give me something else to taste. And like I'm okay with like at least one type of bean in there. Or it's not like just like a bean chili. Well, that's weird, But there are tons of chilies like that where it's just a bean chili. But like I would like like a bean or two in there. Whereas I like something besides meat, so it's just not like a mouthful of meat and like a tomato sauce.
Yeah, I usually just put cheese in mine.
So,
Cheese and sour cream.
we've
Yeah.
got a weird thing we do here in Nebraska. We put our chili on cinnamon rolls. It's don't knock it. Try it. Try it. Try it. I dare you. I dare you to try it and then come back and tell me that it's not good cuz I bet you won't. I'm from Oklahoma and I moved here and I tried that and cuz I knocked it forever. People were like, "Chili, it goes on cinnamon rolls." I'm like, "Y'all are weird." And then I tried it and I was like, "Maybe y'all aren't so weird and you actually got something cooking." It's actually really good.
Hey, I'll read it. So Piper just said, lack of human connection is a cultural issue, to segue back to the
Mm.
conversation, not a generation issue. Many countries have farm stands that you walk up, get what you want, look at the price board, and leave cash in the jar.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and that's just that's one of the biggest things, and he's right because, and this is why, side note, Bitcoin, uh, be, why people like Bitcoin is because it's trustless.
Mm-hmm.
It's that trust issue that people have with their neighbors, and that's something that's, even though most people are good people, uh, the thing is it's just a lack of trust in your neighbors. Like it's difficult. Like we've got Halloween coming up next week, and we want to go trick or treating, and there's always that we're gonna go trick or treating. There's always that question of, do we leave a bowl out, or is some kid just gonna take the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Just one kid just gonna take the whole thing and not just take one. And so, and that's just a whole trust thing. And I think that that becomes a part of the psyche, which then becomes the culture. And I think the only way to combat that is probably to just be a little bit more trusting in people. Um, I have a pretty, I'm, some people say it's a problem, but to just trust people when you just first meet them. Um, Now, I'm not just going to give loan somebody a whole bunch of money or anything when I just met them, but uh, as far as just like I, I let you, I let people burn me before I stop trusting them. Like in a sense, it's like, well, I like to give the benefit of the doubt because I know most people are good people, and that's to me that's just a fact. I think most people are just good people,
Hmm.
and some people just do things out of uh, what's the word? Not out of malice, but like your average person that maybe like steals food from the grocery store, if they're poor, it's not that they want to hurt anybody or anything. They just want to feed their family. It's not doesn't make it right. It's just a fact of life. It's like it's just people are stressed or that they're broke or whatever it is, and they resort to doing the wrong deed. I don't know where I was going with this, but the thing is just I I I, I tend to trust people maybe more than I should, but at the same time, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I like to try and see where other people are coming from before I just write them off completely. There's people that I've kept in my life for a long time, maybe separated my time with them, but kind of just still kept them in my life just in case they needed me or something like that. But you know, trust is earned, but how do you earn that trust unless you first get a connection? I don't know. I don't know where I
Well,
was going with that.
so like the base should be
It's hard to put into
you
words.
you the base should kind of be in that situation where it's like you give trust until trust is not is proven that it shouldn't be there, and that
Mhm.
should be the default. It's like everyone everywhere you go has that opportunity to show that they're untrustworthy. But if you treat the whole world like they're untrustworthy, then you lose out on that ability to even give that person the ability to be like, okay, well, actually, I'm going to act different. Because you might have lived your whole life a certain way, and like you've lived your whole life that certain way because you've been in a certain area and no one's ever really given you that chance. And all it takes is one person to make a difference in someone's life. It could be
Mhm.
a teacher, it could be a mentor, it could just be like mine was a coach in
Mhm.
school. And he like sees the kids that all grow up in that area, and it's just a simple like, instead of a hand out, here's my hand, you reach up and pull yourself up.
I
And
like that.
if you treat everyone like they're not going to grab your hand and pull themselves up, then they're never going to pull themselves up. But the first move you have to do is reach your hand out.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they don't even have that.
Yeah. Yeah. Not just poor people steal, greedy people do too. Yeah, that's true. Piper,
Mm.
I trust way few people, or very few people on the earth. Most people will do wrong when they think they can get away with it, in my opinion.
I mean, I feel like Piper has also just lived a very different life than a lot of the rest of us. And so when
Mhm.
you've gone through some of those things that he has, you kind of will end up having that kind of outlook. Whereas in like I've grown up in an area where, just about every other night someone was going to get shot. But it's
Mm.
like if I take that worldview and I move somewhere else with it, I just poison that area with that worldview and infects
Mm.
that whole area. people aren't fleeing Chicago to come to Nebraska so that they can infect Nebraska and make it like Chicago. They're trying to move to that other area because it's different and they want to have that worldview. And we can't be bitter because we lived through a situation and just to view the whole world through that lens. It was very easy for me to do that for the first amount of time. But like Nebraska has this saying, it's called Nebraska nice. And like it takes a little bit of time to adjust towards it, but it's like this is the kind of place where like you go and someone's broke down on the side of the road, someone's probably going to stop and help that person out. And like it took me time. It was like, yeah, when I lived in the country in Oklahoma, that's how people acted. But when I lived in Tulsa in Oklahoma, that is not how someone acted. You'd be looking at are they really broke down, or is this a ploy to kind of like rob me or something?
I mean, it's kind of the same here in Memphis. It's like it's a very and that's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because Memphis is it's kind of a tight knit community, while at the same time you've got people getting shot every single day. Like we've got it, like we literally have like our own words that like basically only Memphians know. And but I don't know, man. It's just, but I choose to not let the negative stuff shine too much darkness on everything else. There's so much light, and I think that's where people, because I mean, what sells on social media? What pushes the algorithms? Anything that has to do with fear, anything that has to do with chaos, anything that has to do with just destruction, that's what sells. It doesn't sell to be nice, really. Not like across the board.
I mean, that's kind of false though. It's like that's what we've been told because that's what we've seen on the news. Like on the news, yeah, that totally sells. But it's like we've all seen that video where it's like, I mean, I know it's a video type thing, but it's someone doing a random act of kindness, and that person that was getting filmed might not actually know. And like if that goes 10 times farther than that video where like somebody got like instant karma, it goes 10 times farther and people like it 10 times more and they react to it 10 times more and they share it 10 times more. But like that's the thing, is like that's what you've got to feed. Like you get what you feed in life. And if we continue
that was my point. Yeah.
If we continue to feed that and we continue to let these outside forces try to nurture and feed these things that don't align with our values, then it makes it harder to have that human connection. But like if you've noticed the trend, news, the thing that sells us the poison of fear is on the biggest downtrend that it's been in its entire existence. And that's not just news. It's also the music industry that sells the worst kinds of music, where, about rap, the rap about murder and sex and stealing and all of that, where it's like people have started to kind of realize where it's like, what is the value of this? There's always going to be the subsect that kind of listens to it, that's my life. But like en masse, people are shying away from that because no, this doesn't align with my views and the worldly outlook that I would like to inhabit in my country. And that's what we need to start feeding. We need to start feeding the things that are the opposite of what mainstream is trying to push us. Push the fear. Well, let's push the love. They push the violence. Let's push the peace. Because it's like there's always a reason to have those terrible things, and you can always look at it and focus on it 24/7. But like at the end of the day, are you any better for it? Do you trust anyone more for it? Do you look at the world the beautiful place that it is? And
Well, Piper said, I do random acts of kindness all the time. Doesn't mean I trust the world.
yeah,
I mean, what do we mean by trust the world? Do
I
we mean the people, the powers that be that kind of run the show, or what? What is the purpose of what we're doing here, BC? What are we trying to accomplish? The show.
what? Well, honestly, just but for this episode or the show in general.
Well, they kind of play off each other, but just the show, this episode.
So this episode more kind of highlighting the fact of how we get from being separate entities that look at the world as in like it's them and there's me, and then it's us because we're all in it together. We're all in this same world together. And you can look at it as it's everyone's doing their own little thing, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same thing. We're trying to go about it in slightly different ways, but like, does that make us completely different people? No. And it's like, yes, there's always the fringe, there's always the fringe on the other side, but in the middle, the majority of us that all kind of have like that same kind of, well, this is bad, and we all agree that like doing this aspect, doing this thing to society would be bad, and we all agree that doing this has a betterment of society. The majority of us. That doesn't mean that people just don't do bad things. We're people. But like to say that just because you did a bad thing means that like, oh, you gotta be over there now. No. Like, we need all those different aspects and viewpoints and different ways of looking at the world and bringing it all together so that we can be more cohesive. Because at the end of the day, the less cohesive we are as a people, the worse things are going to get.
But it's actually it's kind of I don't want to be religious, but it's kind of a Christian thing to just kind of be like, don't write the people off. Do what you can to try and sway them. It's just love thy neighbor regardless. Forgive the person that did something bad. And it's not that you have to. So, you see the people that, this is just the most recent example that I could think of. You see Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife, forgiving Tyler Robinson, right? And she didn't do that because she doesn't think, she didn't do that because she thinks he's a good guy. She did it because it helped her. And it kind of points to what Piper was talking about. Anytime someone can do something selfish or self-serving without repercussions, they will do it. It is not necessarily a bad thing at certain times to be selfish. As a matter of fact, helping other people can be a selfish act because it makes you feel good to do it. But it's also the right thing to do. So there's two different sides to being selfish. And now self-serving, that might be a little bit different. But I mean, it's situational too. So the point is that it's essentially boils down to what you just said. What you put out is what you get back. And that's why it's best to just put out good and to try and do those little things, try and help somebody out. Like every single Thursday night when I do my show, I tell people, go out there tomorrow. You should do it every day if you can or whenever you can. But I try to say, just tomorrow's Friday, try to go make someone's day. Give them a compliment. do something nice for someone, pay it forward, whatever you can, just try to make someone's day, because every single little thing can build up and compound to be something bigger. And so, and that's why, I just keep just kindness and respect. That brings a lot of people in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
And that kind
I just, yeah, go
that
ahead.
that kind of goes with my comment that I'd replied to Piper. I was like, I just have the feeling that if we fostered the opposite ideals, that even if you can get away with something, you shouldn't do it. That's the energy we should foster, and that's mainly because if you have those ideals and you treat people with that and people end up in that personal relationship with you, you rub off on people. There's that statement where it's show me your 5 friends and I'll tell you who you are. Well, if you can make that one new friend and you have those ideals, you just rubbed off a little bit on that person. That sounds like depending, but like that is the type of cohesion you need. Where it's like even one person can make that little bit of a change for someone else where they're like, damn, I didn't have to be that asshole today. I could have done this instead. Well, tomorrow I'm going to look at it a little bit differently. And when I go into the day, I am going to help that person. And I could have just walked on by and I could have just, oh, well, that sucks that all their groceries fell out of their bag. Well, you can stop and help them pick them up. And like, that's the kind of energy when you have that cohesive group, you're more likely to have that in group that is going to fall in line with those same ideals. But that's that big part that comes into that next aspect of community. But you have to be having that in your personal life before you can ever even get there. Because each of those one-on-one connections needs that kind of energy, needs that kind of cohesiveness, needs that forgiveness, needs that love, needs that hand reached out so that they can pull themselves up. And it's like, that's how you should treat the whole world. Some people are totally going to take your hand and they're going to stab you in the back. But does that mean that the next person doesn't deserve that same hand? No, they do. I've been stabbed in the back so many times, but it's like now I just know where it's like, okay,
literally,
figuratively and literally once, not literally in the back, but like here in the side, where it's like that's why the healthcare episode was so important to me. But it's you can totally get screwed over, but like that doesn't mean that the whole world doesn't deserve that kind of energy. If anything, that really highlights why the world needs that energy. Because you can let the negative energy just flourish, but if it doesn't have any pushback, then everyone's going to view the world that way. And we can't let it get like that.
Piper, I don't know why you asked, but the opposite of love is hate.
I know why you asked. Because he was going to say the opposite of love is disinterest. It depends on how you view it, though. Whereas, like, the direct opposite of love would then, yes, be hate. But it depends. If you're talking about like a capitalist system, the opposite of love is disinterest. But on a personal level, the opposite of love would be hate. Because if you have the complete opposite, the in between would be disinterest.
Okay, no, opposite of love is indifference, is what he said.
See, you see, I told you it was coming. We've had the conversation.
Indifference. That's interesting. But why?
Yeah, I mean it's a good to hear him frame it. I mean it's the
because
fact that
it's about passion.
Mm-hmm. And
because love is ultimately a passion for something,
hmm
because you're highly interested in it. But I mean, I guess, yeah, you don't have to have the hate. Is kind of where he's going with that. It's like, just because I don't love it doesn't mean I hate it,
hmm
because that does fall into what's called, it's some kind of logical fallacy, where it's like you one person A asks person B, "Hey, would you like an apple?" And person B says, "No, no, thank you." And the person A is like, "So you just don't like apples?" And they're like, "It's not what I said. It could have been a whole range of things. I'm just not hungry right now. I just don't want an apple right now." It's one of those things. So yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that a lot. Hate is still emotionally binding. Indifference is zero care. God, okay. And that, I've actually said that for a long time, which is that I don't really have hate in my heart for anything or anyone. I just, it- it- I don't, because I don't like that energy. I don't like bringing that energy on. And because it at the end of the day, it really does me no good. It
hmm
does no good.
I don't
And
know. I
um,
don't know. I feel like I'm the opposite, where it's like I feel like if you
oh,
don't.
I know. I heard you talk about politicians. Okay.
Oh goodness! Don't get me started on that one. But like, if you don't have some hate for the bad, like the truly evil, can you have love for the truly good?
Hate is for the evil, BC. It is for
Yes,
them to it is for them to manifest, not for good people.
but it's like I don't know. It's a spectrum. To say that like an emotional state or a frame of mind is a binary is it's like it's that's not how it is. It's a bimodal distribution graph. Because you could
Mm,
be like, well, I hate chili with beans, or you could be like, I hate chili. It's not there's no it's not a binary. It's a bimodal distribution graph, and somewhere on the spectrum you fall.
mhm,
There's the two peaks here, which is where most people fall, where it's like I fall here or I fall here. But there are the in betweens and there are the outliers. So it's like that. It's like that graph where it's a boom and then a double bump up. That's how all most things are in life. It's not a binary. It's not a there's either left or there's right. There's either good or there's bad. That's false. There's a giant spectrum to most things in life, and to look at it in a very rigid framework is going to keep us from being like, oh shit. Well, there was more to that story than I ever thought there was.
yep. I don't know. It, I stopped. My thing is, I don't know. I'm not big on the whole on hating anything or I don't hold grudges. I'm not very good at holding grudges. I'm just like, if someone does me wrong, I had a former best friend uh, kind of do me wrong. So, and he was my best friend since high school. And I don't have any hate for him. I just disassociated myself with him. And that's the thing. I became indifferent to our friendship because of how he treated me. But I don't hate him. Um, what I hate is cancer for taking my mom from me, right? But I don't know. I feel like you've got to put so much effort into hating someone or something, and it's just something that I just don't. I don't know. I feel like it's I feel like a I feel like a better response indifference, because I feel like it kind of affects the other person, if it's another person, more. It's like, well, you just, instead of feeding me the hate, you're not even giving me any kind of attention, which for a lot of
Sometimes,
people, they'd rather have the hate.
well,
you know?
sometimes indifference is the right response.
Mhm.
But like, to look at some things in life and just know that that is absolutely corrupt or is absolutely the opposite of how it should be. I'm going to have hate towards that thing, and that hate is part of the reason that spurs me to want it to be different. It makes me angry. It makes me enraged. It makes me feel terrible inside, and so I want to feel differently about that situation.
Mhm.
It's why we did a show on money, because I hate it and it makes me angry. It's why we did a show on healthcare. Like, there's good aspects to healthcare, but like how it's run, I hate it and it makes me angry. So that's why I say you can't really have true love for some things unless you have true hate for some things. And a lot of instances in life, like when it comes to a person, you can't hate that person unless you love them first.
Hmm.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Did you love politicians?
That was one of my first things that I fell in love with in life. So I
Hmm.
when I was in middle school, I we had a mock election thing, and I ended up running the campaign in our school that like for Obama, and I was like the
Hmm.
speaker to our class that represented Obama. And it's like that's the kind of reason where it's like I turned around. I loved that stuff. I loved the fact that there was someone out there that actually wanted to like make a change, that wanted to see things better. And then it's like as I looked further and further into it, it's like, well, the wool's off my eyes, and you guys are kind of scumbags, and it makes me angry, and I hate it.
Yeah, it makes me angry. Hate is a very strong word. I don't like a lot of what they do because I don't feel like they're actually trying to do better for the country and for the people. I And then you start this whole us versus, and I think hate breeds the whole us versus them mentality.
It can.
And yeah, and so you get people talking about I hate the Democrats, or I hate the Republicans,
We will
and it's
trust me.
just like,
We will have a whole show talking about the dichotomy of politics because
yeah,
I mean
yeah,
that is and that's where it's like hate is useful in the right aspects. Where it's like
hmm,
you shouldn't have hate for your fellow man ever. It's like you
hmm,
might hate what they do, but you
hmm,
shouldn't hate them because that they like believe a certain way. You can hate their actions, but like unless they're absolutely just an evil human being, you probably shouldn't hate them. Because if things were any different, that could be you.
true,
That's why
hmm,
I don't have hate for people, like an individual person, except for like very few cases where it's like, okay, you're just a total absolute garbage human being, and you
hmm,
probably shouldn't be out in society. But those are very few cases. On the most, I believe that like a lot of this framework that we're talking about here, or if we fostered that human connection and we made sure that everyone was treated, or we did our best to make sure everyone was treated with love, like Billy Goat Tail's team does in their community, like if that's your first most rule in society, then people tend to fall into that or they leave that group, you know? And it's like most people don't want to be on the outs. And that's the biggest part of community. But you need that in your daily life first, in your everyday connections, in the people that you see with every day, that you talk with every day, the people you go to work with every day. Yeah, that dude sucks at his job sometimes, but does that mean he deserves any less dignity and respect than you treat someone else with? No, maybe he just needs a little extra time and energy to be like, "Hey, bro, well, have you tried it this way?" And that's what I spent my whole Friday doing at work. Whereas like I'm running a machine and that someone has only put like 40 hours in. Hey, bro, let me show you how it's done. Instead of me just being angry at you because you suck. Of course, that's where I was for like a year and a half ago, bro. Because I had ran the machine 4 times. So it's like, that's the difference.
It's like this kid that they got hired on at my work. 19 years old. And when he tells you like his whole story, you're just like, dang, dude, that kind of sucks. Like your mom, crackhead, just left you on the side of the road in Mississippi, and then you walked your butt all the way up. And anyways, took his car, took his money, his own mom. Okay. Pretty much basically homeless the entire time he worked with us. I mean, he started off at a house, or he started off at a hotel. Then he got a house. Within a week, he was kicked out because him and his friends were doing donuts in the cul-de-sac. And so he got an eviction notice. And he's a very sweet kid. He just did stupid stuff because he had no discipline and just basically did whatever he thought was cool or he thought his friends would think was cool. And the point is one of the guys that I worked with that's over the cleaners, you know, he was very kind of hard on him, right? And, you know, and even, you know, cursed at him and, you know, just kind of went on a little bit of an unhinged rant because, you know, he would show up late but if you understood a situation, you knew he was living eventually most of his time he was living in a hotel. He has an autistic brother that he had to also had to take care of, but he would also have to drop him off at work. And then he'd have to come to our work. And then at one point he was even just living in his van. So he would also be late because of that. He had court dates almost all the time. And it's just like, I understand where the guy that's over him, what I understand from a business perspective. It's like, well, this is just, we can't have this. But my boss is also like, well, he's hourly. So, and I want to try and, because basically his job was his only structure in his life. It's the only thing. And he was getting better. It was taking him a while, but he started getting better and better and better because we were outside of the person that was over him, other people that saw him and saw his life and recognized what he needed, which was just a little bit of a care, but courtesy and grace, and just talk to him and say, look, man, like, I understand you got stuff going on, but, you know, you do have priorities that you got to take care of here as well. And, you know, let's just try to work better. And also, what can we do to help? That's a big question. What can I do to help? I do that with everybody that I work with. What can I do to help? How can I help you in any kind of way? And it's and that's the thing. Even though it was taking a while, every little bit was making an impact on this kid's life. Whereas a lot of people just write him off, and then he would just go and be homeless and not build any kind of structure. He has no dad either. Didn't have a dad growing up, and it shows. And it's just kind of like he just needed people in his life that cared more about him than he did about himself, basically. And once you give people that kind of care and attention, and you know, especially when you know that they're good at their heart in their heart, it's just kind of like it manifests. It builds over time, and you can really help people out. But eventually, he just became too much for the company, and so they let him go.
Hmm.
I would have liked to have kept him on, but yeah, it is
He,
what it is. I can't really change that situation. I don't own the business, but yeah.
he's got now a little bit of a base of which to build off of. It's like maybe at that next position, he looks at it and he's like, "Well, I'm a little less bitter, and I'm gonna go into this with the same with that mindset that these people were trying to teach me." Where
Mhm,
like I talked about earlier, it's that reaching that hand out so that someone else can lift themselves up. And
mhm,
like everyone deserves that. No matter who they are, no matter what they've been through, no matter how they might look at the world, it's like, yeah, it sometimes you're gonna get burned. But I'd rather get burned than just be bitter and it automatically assume that someone's gonna act a certain kind of way.
mhm,
Because at the end of the day, all that does is hurt me and hurt the way I look at the world and like make me like a less happy person about the world when there's already enough reasons to be unhappy about the world. You know? Like why? Why?
Well, and and the thing is I also understand Piper's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I also understand and know that he's seen some shit, and and he's probably seen more than most people because most people don't ever leave their freaking city, much less leave their country, right? Um, so he's seen all different kinds of people all around the world. So, but 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 he's also his the job that he had also only pushed him towards certain types of people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, I understand why you see so much about these. Your job is literally to find the bad guys. Like the bad guys are bad guys. Oh, shocking. It's kind of just like, I mean, but of course, he also saw just random people around the world. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I see a lot of people doing a lot of good, but I'm also uh, in the South where hospitality is kind of a thing. And, we hold doors open for people. When I lived in Michigan for 9 months, I didn't have one door held for me,
Mm-hmm.
which was wild. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just,
Piper said
I don't
you
know.
can.
What you can control is what you can control at the end of it, at the end of the day. And, I've been reading, looking a little bit into stoicism and all that. And it's just kind of like, why worry about stuff that's out of your control in general? But
Mm-hmm.
you can impact things that are out of your control in some way. Um, just by not really, it depends on what it is, but if the masses get on board and if stuff kind of compounds, then who knows? Who knows? But uh,
That's why we're gonna do this whole little mini series within our show, where it's like the personal connections, the community, and then how you use community to enact change. Because dude, we might look at things and be like, oh well, out of my hands, let me wash it of it, and it's like that's not true. Like, you have just as much ability to enact the change that you want to see in your life around the world as everyone else does. That person isn't 10 times more special than you, and they're in that position where, like, no. Like, we all have that. And if you want to see that, you're more obligated to stand up and stand for that change than anyone else is.
Well,
And-
it's like that whole saying goes, if you want to see change, you got to be the change you want to see, right?
Mm-hmm. And change
And
first
I
start.
think
Change first starts with you. And if you aren't willing to step up, and everyone is disinterested, then nothing's gonna change. We're
you
all
want to know why you're not, you want to know why you're not disciplined in your trading? Because you're not disciplined in your life.
Mhm.
Plain and simple. It's just that's just how it is. And but yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no problem.
What
Well,
were
it's
you,
true.
what were you gonna say? What Piper was? What?
Piper has said, but you can reach out a hand without expecting humanity to be present in others. That's what I'm talking about. Is reaching your hand out with, like, not necessarily expecting there to be humanity in someone else, but I'm reaching that hand out so that that humanity might be present in them when it's through. When they've grabbed the hand and they've pulled themselves up, there might be a little bit more humanity in that person. That's the whole goal of it. It's like, I'm not reaching out just for you and just for me. I'm reaching out for everyone. Because everyone deserves that little bit more self-respect and self-dignity and a little more care and a little more love. Because there's so much around that makes you look at it and be like, well, it's like, nah, that's the wrong response.
Agreed. But if you expect that your change is going to change someone else, you are just set up for disappointment. Oh, Piper, the ever pessimist. Ever the pessimist. No.
Nate, you can turn it into disappointment, or you can be like, well, I did my part. Why are you
Right.
disappointed that you did your part? I'm not.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
I did
100%.
I did exactly what I was supposed to do, and I'm not in control of the outcome of that other person. What I am in control of is my input to that person. And that's all you can control. And if you take away some of your input to society, to the people around you, then society's a little less worse for that. It just is true. Like, society is all of us. And if you choose to take away some of your input to it, then society is going to be that much worse for it.
Thank you for your pushback today, Piper. Bringing some counterpoints to counter this. Absolutely love it. Need more of that in the chat for future episodes. So, yeah, so be the change you want to be. Basically, sums it all up. And,
Definitely.
Just do what you. We'll get into the community stuff next week because that's what that one will be about. So, anything else for this stream? Are we good? What? Yeah. What you got?
Honestly, all I'd like to leave it with is the change.
Because I know we could keep going.
Oh yeah, we definitely could. And it's like all I would say is the same kind of effort that you put into, like, say, being in the chat here where you're chiming on in, is the same kind of effort that, like, your daily life deserves. the same kind of input that you want to throw in on the chat to keep like a show going and like a laugh to be had and things like that. That's the same kind of effort that should be going into your daily life as well. Like all of those people that you see every single day, at least one of them needs that. Because we're all going through this. It's a little bit monotonous sometimes, but like that doesn't mean that the effort isn't needed. It's 10 times more needed there than it is here. We've got this community here when it's like we've got to spread that out there. Like that Billy Goat Tales mindset where it's like givers gain.
Givers gain.
You can't gain unless you're giving. And giving to everyone. Society needs your input.
It's a give and take. And a lot of takes today. Take. Not a lot of give. But yeah, I think we have a nice foundation for next week. And yeah, I'm excited to go over the whole community aspect of it. That's kind of where my brain was when we started this. So I was kind of started off a little bit in the wrong mindset, but generally, yeah. I mean, it starts with you. Change starts with you. You got to be the change you want to be. Be the warrior monk, as Piper says, and you just fight for what you believe in. And but don't. To me, I don't think you should just do what you can control. That's basically what it comes down to. Just do what you can control and don't worry yourself with things that are out of your control. And because that's just, it may not manifest hate, but it definitely manifests disappointment, which it just manifests negative energy in general. So just focus on what you can control. Be the best person that you can be, and give a hand out. Have your hand out whenever you can, not for takes, but for giving, and try to help others as much as possible, and just any way you can. And it might be small, but to somebody else, it might be massive. So just be good and do good only. That's kind of the thing, you know. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you for everyone.
Hate is a rough and toxic, if at times justified, feeling. Love, and be, says Baba Yaz. Love that, Baba. Baba Yaz.
I definitely agree with that. No, don't hate the player, hate the game. You know, because that's what we're all kind of complaining about, and that's what we're all trying to fix. And
ooh, I love that, K Diggity. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's beautiful. Love that.
The serenity prayer.
Love and indifference. This is the way, says Piper. This is the way. Where's my baby Yoda? This is the way. All right. Don't sue us, Disney, please.
I can't afford it. Please don't. I'll be having to ask Piper for one of those loans he talked about earlier. Like, hey, I got to go to war with Disney. Can I get a small loan?
You know, it's funny. I asked ChatGPT to create me a Groku guru, trading guru, and it was like, I can't do that because of copyright and blah blah blah. And then I went to Grok, and it was like, all right, here. I'm just like, okay, be careful. Be careful. Disney's known for suing folks, all right?
Oh yeah.
So, but anyways, BC, great episode, I think. And yeah, I'm excited for next week. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We do greatly appreciate you being here and your participation. If you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and hit that notification bell to be notified whenever we go live here. And yeah, just all I gotta say is control what you can control, be good and good only. And yeah, I love you guys and thank you for being here.
Thanks for everyone tuning in. I hope to see you at next week's episode with the Billy Goat Tales team, talking about building community. So, and that one's going to be a good one. We've got a lot to go over on that one, and I hope every single person that's here today and more tunes on in, because it's going
Who
to
all
be
is going to make it?
So as far as I know, Billy will be there, Redman will be there, and then we might have one other person as well. I haven't been told who yet.
Okay.
So
Probably hopefully either Tony or Dave, or I mean, hopefully any of them. I don't. But yeah, I'd like to have them all on. But
Okay.
if we could just get a couple, that's still awesome as well. So I can't control who comes. So I'm not gonna worry myself over it.
Yeah, you can only control that you show up.
100%.
All right. Well, thanks, David, for this wonderful episode. I will see y'all at the next one, and have a great rest of your weekend.
Mad love.
Counter this, counter that. Freedom's more than tit for tat. Words can build or words can break. Speak the truth for all our sake. A hand that feeds can also bind, but peace can free a restless mind. Fix the cracks, don't paint them bright. The world's not whole without the fight. So rise and speak, don't just comply. Change the script, don't live the lie. Counter this, counter that.